Okay, Mitch Meister here, and this is a fuel tank and sending unit for my 1979 F150. Um, this is not the standard 19-gallon fuel tank that came with the truck as OEM original equipment. This is the extended 38-gallon fuel tank, and the distance here is much lower than the original fuel tank. I think the original fuel tank only comes down to about here from memory serves. And so now we have a 38-gallon fuel tank we're going to put in. The problem I've run across is nobody actually has a video on how to do these things, because there's some adjustments you have to make. And you can see my handy dandy work right there. It also comes with, where they at? Well, I just had them here a moment ago. But they're bolts to extend down the side, because the bar straps at the bottom have to go down. So it's a steel tube with a bolt through the center of it to help move the straps down to compensate. But the part that nobody ever really talks about is that thing right there called the sending unit. Now you're looking at the finished product, because I had to really mess with it to make this thing work. Now, this piece here, this filter unit, actually goes on to this piece here. But because we've dropped down, because we have a much lower bottom, we need to extend the screen down further. And that's what I've done here. And I also had to bend the float down. I bent it right here, and basically I just more or less straightened it out. It did come off at an angle like this way. So this way it comes within a couple of inches of the bottom of the tank. And then when it goes full, it's only, believe it or not, I fill the tank up. It's going to read full until I've used up the top half of the tank, until I've used half the tank of fuel. Then it will start reading and start coming down. And then when it hits the bottom, well, we're empty. I preferred that very much over the other concept of it would read full all the way down till I hit half a tank, and then it would say it's empty, and then I have to guess at what's remaining in the tank. So I bent the rod, brought the float down, and this way, when it actually says empty, when our fuel gauge says empty, it's actually empty. Another part is that the float right here was actually flipped and went this way instead of going this way. Well, that would interfere with the tubing here, because as you can see, it goes down below the tubing, comes up above the tubing. So I flipped it around the other direction to make that compensation so there's no interference, and also bent it out a little bit so that I could get better clearance between the two, so that there's no interference here. The copper tube that comes with it, I bent at an angle and I did some stills and to show it fully assembled in the tank. And let's see if I can figure out some way to get this to work so you can see what I'm doing here. There we go. I bent right here in between those two notches. You have the 45, that's 45 degrees. There's a notch, and then 90 degrees. I bent it right in between those two notches. I'm horrendous at math in my head. I'm not going to try to do that for you. But anyhow, whatever whatever that reading is, halfway between 45 and 90 degrees, which I think is 45 and 90 is, I'm doing math in my head, this is not good. I don't know, what, 15 degrees? So it'd be 45, 50, about 60 degrees or so, somewhere around there, I guess. Anyhow, that's where, that is the angle that I bent the tubing right here. And with that bend, it allows this part to set pretty close to parallel like this in the bottom of the tank. And looking in the bottom of the tank, see that well right there, that low part, that is where your fuel is going to settle. That is the lowest point in the tank. And I have it set so that this will set pretty much right in the middle of it. When messing with this, one of the things I did learn, and to let you know that this tube here goes into the copper tubing. This, which I have to get clamps for in the morning, I will put 2 clamps on it, one here and one here, and that will help to seal this off and prevent this tube here from falling off of here because it just slides on there. So you need to get, and the 3/8 tubing did not come, or the 3/8 fuel line, and make sure you get fuel line. 3/8 fuel line did not come with the tank. So you're going to have to remember to get this, and when you go buy fuel line, make sure you get clamps for 2 clamps for 3/8 fuel line, and don't forget it like I did. So I'm going to put 2 clamps on here. This piece goes down inside this one by about this far. You want that to happen in order to give you stability, because if you just rely on the rubber hose, this, when you hold it up like this, the copper tubing will just flop around. You don't want that. You want it to be solid and stable like it is right now. And then this is to help prevent air leaks, and it prevents this, the copper tubing, from sliding off the end of the tube for the sending unit, for the fuel pickup. Now putting this in after you get all the adjustments made on it is start putting your filter screen in first. Challenging part is doing this with one hand. You're gonna have to kind of push. Get the above the copper tubing here. Okay. Alright. I'm going to look to see what I'm doing rather than trying to look through the screen of the camera here. Alright. There we go. Alright. When you do this with 2 hands, it's a lot easier. Now, on the underside, you will see that there are 2 tabs. There's one here, and there's one, get some light on it. There's another one over here by my other finger, opposite each other. And you can see the notches on both sides of the opening. Easiest way to get this to seat down in there is to put the notch in on the other side first, and then line up the notch on this side. Okay. Notch over there, notch over here, and make sure you get it down underneath there. Of course, now that I'm demonstrating this, it doesn't want to work. There we go. But you get the 2 notches lined up on that side and then bring it down on this side, it just literally drops right in. when you're taking your measurements and everything, you put it in there, you measure it, you look, make sure you put this ring on here. It doesn't have to be uber tight, but it needs to be snug enough. I found that hand snug works just fine, and this will help to make sure that the piece here actually sets flush, and you're not drooping one way or the other with your unit on the inside. So now, and then there you go. All right. I'll have some stills and pictures for you, and leave your comments and stuff below. Thank you.